Well, hello there my fellow Doombots, and I just came out of the theater of watching Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, what is supposed to be the final installment of the Mission Impossible franchise. And let me tell you, I love the Mission Impossible franchise, aka Tom Cruise's suicidal bucket list, where he can just do any and every crazy stunt he wants to. And let me tell you, this movie does not disappoint if it comes to crazy Tom Cruise stunts. The dude is 62 years old and he's still jumping from airplane to airplane, diving to the bottom of the ocean. Any crazy stuff you can imagine, Tom Cruise is doing it in this movie. For a final installment, I think this really works. I think a bunch of people will have their doubts about if you can understand this movie if you haven't seen the previous 7 movies that span over almost 30 years of cinematic history. But let me tell you, the thing that is frustrating about this movie, but at the same time also really good, is that you do not have to have seen all of the previous movies to understand this one, because it has a bunch of callback to everything. So it explains the plot of all the previous movies and it makes it all into one cohesive storyline. So everything that Hunt has done until this point is the reason why we are here in this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. The movie looked great. Of course, the action was supreme, but do I think it is the best Mission Impossible movie? No, I do not. I think that the movie previously to this one is, in my opinion, the best one of all time, even though a lot of people would argue Fallout is the greatest. But I still think that this is a really good fitting chapter to end the Mission Impossible franchise on. As a movie to close out the final storyline of Ethan Hunt, I think it does a great job, and I think this is a movie that you should go watch in the theater. This movie is about 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it's really brisk. It doesn't really feel like a really long movie because there's so much action. The first half is really a lot of setup, and the second half is just non-stop action. Of course, the bad guy in this movie, once again, is the AI, and the thing that I really liked about the previous movie, Dead Reckoning Part 1, or just Dead Reckoning right now, was the mystery surrounding the AI. But because in this movie, you get to find out in the beginning what the AI is trying to accomplish, it takes away a lot of the mystery. And I do think that in this film they could have done a lot more with the AI and the tools that it had at its disposal. And that's one of the things that is a little bit disappointing for me per se, because they were really setting up the abilities of this AI in the previous movie and how Ethan Hunt had to battle it. And in this film, it is really more about like people who get brainwashed by the AI who are fighting Ethan Hunt. Overall, I had a good time in the theater. I'm probably gonna watch this one for a second time in the cinema. I'm gonna be working on a ranking video next for all of the Mission Impossible movies, and I also will be doing a spoiler talk. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments down below. Are you gonna watch it? Doom it out and have yourself a happy Doomsday.